Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you this Dusty Rose monochromatic makeup look, so let's go ahead and get started. So starting off, I'm using the Milani eyeshadow primer. This is one of my favorites. I've talked about it several times. Just applying this all over my lids. For brows, I'm using two e.l.f. products, the Lock On Brow and Liner Cream and also the Brow Pencil. And oh, some magic editing there. And today for my eyes, I'm going to be using the Lorac Megapro 3 palette. First up, I'm taking the shade Cream and I'm putting this all over my eyelids. And you can see just how pigmented these shadows really are. It's totally covering up any discoloration that I have, any veins, anything like that. Then I'm taking the shade Toffee, I believe, and I'm just kind of blending that into my crease. I started with a fluffier brush, but then I switched to this brush because there wasn't a lot of pigmentation coming off. So yeah, I just blend and blend and blend just to give it a soft focus effect. Then I'm picking up the shade Maple. It's this really pretty kind of warm brown color, and I'm using a smaller fluffy brush and just kind of putting this into the outer corner and blending that into my crease a little bit. For all over my lid, I'm starting with a base, so I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo Crayon, and I think mine is in the shade Lilac Lust. And I just put this all over, and then I kind of blend it out with my fingers just a little bit. And on top of that, I'm going to be taking this shimmery shade called Rose Quartz from the Megapro 3 palette, and I'm packing that all over the lid. And since the Maybelline tattoo, I didn't give it time to dry, so it provided kind of a tacky base for that shadow to stick to. And then I just repeat that on the other eye. Now I'm taking that Pecan shade right there, and I'm just kind of using the same fluffy brush I used originally to just kind of blend out the harsh edges and make sure everything is seamless. Then I'm mixing the shades Violet Gray and Eggplant, and I'm putting those on the outer corner of my eye with a densely packed brush. And then I'm just going to take my brush with no extra product on it and just kind of work on blending those out after I place the product down. Alright, and then the eyes are finished, so we're going to move on to the face. For my moisturizer, I'm going to be using this one by Neutrogena. It's their Hydro Boost moisturizer, and I don't put too much on because my skin, especially down the center of my face, is more oily, but I think this provides a really smooth kind of base for the skin to start off with. And then I'm targeting this NYX pore filler just on the spots that I have pores. I'm not putting it all over my face, so I'm just going to kind of blend this in here. And I like to use kind of pressing and patting motions where my pores are the largest. And then I'm taking this NYX Dark Circle Color Corrector. Luckily my dark circles weren't too bad this day that I was filming it, but most of the time they are. So I'm just applying that where I have some darkness, which for me is under my eyes and also a little bit around my nose as well. And today I'm using a brush to blend this out, but you can use a beauty blender or a sponge, or even your fingers works really well too. Now for foundation, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. I mix two shades, Soft Ivory and True Ivory, I think they're called. So I mix both those shades to get my perfect match. Sometimes I just use one, but I felt like being a little bit extra today, and I feel like a goof. And then I'm just going to blend that out using the L'Oreal Beauty Sponge. I love this sponge. I've talked about it before on my channel. It's not the same as a beauty blender, but it does get the job done and the finish looks the exact same. So I really love this one, and it's a really good affordable option. Alright, speaking of being extra, I am using two concealers today. The Tarte Shape Tape just right underneath where I had those dark circles, and then I'm also going to add some of my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind just because it's not as full coverage. I don't need a lot of coverage in the spots that I put the Maybelline ones. So, and then I'm just going to use my Beauty Blender again to blend that out. I really like the effect that it gives when I just use that Tarte Shape Tape on the more targeted areas and I use the Age Rewind everywhere else. It just gives a really pretty finish. It's not too cakey, not too heavy looking. It just looks really nice. Alright, so then I'm going into my e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette. I'm using that top, more light shade, and I'm just kind of carving out my cheekbones a little bit. I don't put too much of this on there, and then I blend it out, and I'm using the e.l.f. Small Stipple Brush to do this. For blush, I'm using the Maybelline Master Glaze. I don't even know if they make this anymore, but it's one of my favorites, so I don't want to give it up. You don't need very much. I'm using that same stipple brush again, just got a little bit of product because it's pretty pigmented, and it just looks so natural on the cheeks. If you want even more of a monochromatic look, you could go with a blush that is more rosy toned, like the Milani Romantic Rose blush would look really nice, but I thought I wanted to do like a little pop of color on my cheeks. So then I'm just taking my beauty blender again and just kind of going over it to make sure everything stays nice and soft focused. And then I'm taking the Benefit What's Up highlighter, which is a cream highlighter, on another stipple brush and just applying that lightly. This will provide a really good base for the highlight that we're going to put on later. And then to set my under eyes, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Pressed Powder. I really like this stuff to set the under eyes, not the whole face though, because it doesn't keep my T-zone from getting oily throughout the day, but it does look really nice under the eyes. Then I'm using just my e.l.f. Beautifully Bare finishing powder for the rest of the face, because this does do a really good job of keeping me matte all day long without making me look cakey. Then I'm taking this LA Colors bronzer, which if you just watched my Get Ready With Me, I used this for the first time in that video and I love the way it looked as a bronzer, so I'm using it again today. It just gives a really nice subtle warmth without looking orange or anything like that. Then I'm just doing a little bit of quick contour here with my LA Colors contour palette. I love this palette. It's only like $6 and I found mine at Dollar General, but it works just as well as my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. So if you find this, it's totally a hidden gem at the drugstore. Love it. Then I'm using the e.l.f. Blush powder. Definitely got to tap off the excess because these are super pigmented, but I'm just adding a tiny bit on top. And it's actually a really good idea if you want your makeup to last longer to go ahead and layer cream and powder products. So that's what I did here. And then I'm applying the Mary Luminizer highlighter from the Balm right on top of that other highlighter that we had applied, just to make it even more blinding, and it helps to make it last longer as well. To finish up my eye look, I'm taking that Pecan shade underneath my lower lash line on a kind of a fluffy brush, not being too precise about it. Then I'm mixing those two purple shades that I used earlier and just kind of using a more precise brush and applying that to the outer half of my lower lash line, and I'm not bringing it down too far because I don't want it to be too smoky. And then I'm just going to take that big fluffy brush again and just kind of blend it out. Now I'm taking that pink bronze shade and I'm going to be applying that to my inner corner. It's not super bright, so it's not going to be too intense, but I think it does add a nice pop of brightness to the inner corner. Then I'm going to be using this NYX Slide On Glide On Lip Pencil in the shade Nude Suede Shoes. I also use this one in my Get Ready With Me video, and I absolutely love it. It stays on for a really long time. Then I'm going to be topping it off with this Milani Matte Lip Cream in the shade Adorable, I think is what it's called. I can't remember, but I'll have it linked down below. I've loved this liquid lipstick for a long time. It's actually the first liquid lipstick I ever bought, and I thought the color would look really good with the eyeshadow look that I did today. Alright, quickly I am setting down all those powders with my Mario Badescu facial spray, and then I'm going to move on to this Stila Huge Lash Extreme Mascara. This is a sample size that I got in a Sephora Play box a couple months ago, but I really do enjoy this mascara. It has the same kind of shape as the Too Faced Better Than Sex or the new L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara, but the formula is a little more wet. And then I'm going to be using a sample size of the Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray. This stuff really does last all night. When I'm going to an event, I definitely always use this because I know that my makeup will last all night long. Alright, so here's the completed monochromatic makeup look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Give this video a thumbs up if you like these kind of videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!